Hello everyone! In this episode, I'm sharing another two delicious recipes, salt and pepper chicken wings or 椒盐鸡翅, and homestyle fried rice or 家常炒饭. We'll start by preparing some spring onions. This is about 80 grams of spring onion. Now there are white parts and there are green parts. So we're going to prepare the white parts separately from the green parts, because the white parts can be fried a little bit, but the green parts need to be served raw right at the end, topping the fried rice. So we'll cut away the root ends of the spring onions and then cut those into rings. Now, before I get onto this later in the video, it's often believed that you cannot make good fried rice with freshly cooked rice. It has to be day-old rice, leftover rice in the fridge. This is not entirely true. I'll show you how to cook rice and adjust it accordingly so that you can actually make fried rice using fresh rice, so that you don't have to have day-old leftover rice just to make fried rice. You can make fried rice whenever you want, because let's face it, fried rice is delicious anytime. We'll save the spring onion whites, and then now we'll cut the green parts of the spring onions. Now, spring onions are usually the first thing I cut simply because it's the clean cutting board and I'm going to serve these raw, so I want to make sure my cutting board is as clean as possible. But in Chinese restaurants, they tend to cut spring onions to order, especially the higher end restaurants, simply because it's fresher flavor. Alright, we'll now prepare some chicken wings. These are frozen mid-joint wings, although you can feel free to use wings and drums. The fastest way to thaw them is to rinse them over a light stream of cold tap water, as you saw. We'll now add in some rice. I'm making fried rice for 6 people today, so that's about 540 grams of rice. That's 3 rice cooker cups. We'll add some water and wash our rice. Now, the first rice rinse, you should discard the water. And for the second rinse, I'm just discarding the water too because I don't have a use for it. But usually people who have plants, they can use the water to water the plants. On the third rinse, we'll actually save that water because we want to clean the chicken wings later. Now, normally to cook jasmine rice, we use a ratio of 1 to 1.2 in terms of volume. But for this recipe, we're going to do 1 to 1.1, a little bit drier, and we'll let the rice soak for 30 minutes first. So just weigh out 600 grams of water, or thereabout, and then let that soak for half an hour. We'll now prepare those chicken wings that have been thawed out. We'll pour in that third round of rice washing water so that we can rinse out any bone fragments or myoglobin stuck in the chicken wings. Frozen chicken wings also tend to have an off smell to them. You can skip this step if you got really fresh chicken wings, alright? We're going to pat them dry with a paper towel on both sides. Now, you can cook salt and pepper anything. It's a very popular Cantonese style of cooking. You can do salt and pepper pork ribs, salt and pepper squid, or calamari. It's up to you, alright? I'll show you how to make the salt and pepper powder later. Alright, now, just to keep my Asian friends happy, that's the finger method to show you that I do have the right amount of water in there. So we'll turn the heat up, let the water come to a boil, turn the heat down to low, and immediately cover the pot. And we'll leave it there for 10 minutes or so. That's how long it takes to cook. We'll now prepare the seasoning for the chicken wings. That's 2 teaspoons of salt, 1 tablespoon of sugar. Keep in mind, I've got 1 kilogram of chicken wings, so scale up or down the seasoning accordingly. 1 teaspoon of chicken powder, about 2 teaspoons of white pepper powder, 2 tablespoons of oyster sauce. I just like oyster sauce. It just gives a nice, fresh, savory flavor, but it's not pure sodium either. About 1 tablespoon of light soy sauce. And then we'll add in our chicken wings, alright? Now, the seasoning would be similar if you're doing this for pork ribs, but for calamari, generally, we wouldn't add the oyster sauce or a light soy sauce. We would literally just use salt, all right? After about 10 minutes, that rice has doubled in size. You can see that it's perfect. It's a little bit drier than what we normally expect to eat as a fresh bowl of rice for us Asians, but in the case of making fried rice, it's just about perfect. We'll fluff out the rice, and then we'll spread it out onto a large plate, or 2 large plates actually. Alright? And that's enough to make fried rice for 6 people. We'll now prepare the rest of the ingredients. We've got some garlic here. That's about 80 grams. In general, 1 head of garlic can yield you about 40 grams of garlic cloves after peeling the skin and removing the base. A tip for peeling garlic, if you're going to mince it, is to just pound it with the side of the knife like I just did. That makes the skin come off way more easily. Those that have been on my channel for a while now are very familiar with how I just edit the garlic and mince it like that. We're going to mince up this 80 grams of garlic. Of course, if you cannot be bothered, you can use a food processor. 30 grams of ginger. Please do not use the minced garlic you can buy in a box. It's disgusting, okay? I have to say it. 30 grams of ginger. We're going to use this for our fried rice. Some people don't like ginger in their fried rice, but I do. Now we're going to take out about half of the garlic, and we'll put that together with the ginger. The rest of the garlic will go for the salt and pepper chicken wings, because garlic and onions are aromatic and they can add a nice textural contrast. We'll mince up 100 grams of red onion. If you've got shallot, you can use that too. Alright, we'll prepare some chilies, both red and green, just to add some color to the dish and also spice. That's about 15 grams of chilies. We'll set those aside. And now these are the ingredients for fried rice exclusively. I'm preparing 50 grams of carrot. Slice it up and then cut into batons. And then rotate those batons to cut them into dice. This will add a nice pop of color to our fried rice. We'll prepare 2 pork sausages. You can also use ham or bacon, any meat you like. We'll cut them into strips like that. And then we'll rotate those strips to dice, just like we did with the carrots. Sausages, bacon, ham, they're also salty, so they'll add a nice salty bite to the dish. And we'll add 10 grams of green chilies, again to enhance the color and add spiciness, but you can leave this out if you don't like spiciness in your fried rice. That's all the ingredients for the fried rice. We'll now prepare to coat our chicken wings in the batter. Now that's not enough batter that I prepared. I don't want to make it all at once because I have the tendency to make the batter soggy, so if I put enough flour and cornstarch right now, I still won't have enough later. So we'll dust these in a powder. So this is just a 1-to-1 mix of flour and cornstarch, nothing special. The reason for using this mix is because flour is too soft on its own, so it doesn't get very crispy, and cornstarch is too hard on its own, so the coating would be too crispy and too hard. Using a 1-to-1 ratio makes it crispy but tender, right? So I'm using my non-dominant hand as my wet hand to put the chicken wings into the bowl with the flour and cornstarch, and my right hand, my dominant hand, is the dry hand to really press into the chicken wings there to get the coating to cover. Alright, we're going to coat all of these chicken wings, or at least half of them, with this nice coating. And then we'll set those aside on another plate. Okay, now I've run out of flour and cornstarch, so again I'm going to add a little bit more. I don't like to waste cornstarch for the simple reason that it's a bit more expensive than flour, so I usually like to just take out more if I don't have enough. But I would say for about a kilogram of chicken wings, you're going to need half cup of flour and a half cup of cornstarch. Okay. We'll prepare some eggs. I'm using quail eggs because they have a richer flavor than chicken eggs. 1 quail egg is equivalent to about, 4 quail eggs is equivalent to 1 chicken egg. Ooh, my hand slipped there. So yeah, 15 quail eggs, just to add a slightly richer flavor than chicken eggs. But of course, if you cannot get quail eggs or don't want to bother, you can just use regular chicken eggs, of course. I'll add 2 more chicken eggs to increase the volume. So if you don't have quail eggs, you can use just 6 chicken eggs instead of a mix of quail and chicken eggs like I've got here. We'll prepare 5 grams of red dry chilies, about a teaspoon of fine salt, and a teaspoon of whole white peppercorns in the wok now, and we'll toast them over low heat. This will form our salt and pepper powder. Well, technically it's a salt and pepper and chili powder. So we'll put these into a mortar and pestle and then pound them out. You'll know it's ready when the salt has turned a bit yellow and the chilies are nicely toasted and can break easily when you snap them with your fingers. Pound them on the mortar and pestle, and we've got ourselves 2 tablespoons of that salt and pepper powder. You can decide how much or how little you want to put later. We'll add some oil. Now, because we cook at home and we don't want to waste a lot of oil, I like to use less oil and just fry things in 2 or 3 batches. I'm going to fry my chicken wings in 3 batches. So I've added about a half cup of oil there. I'm going to add a small piece of onion, and if it floats to the top and bubbles slightly, you know it's at the right temperature, 150 to 160 degrees. Add 1/3 of the chicken wings at this stage. And we'll fry these up for about 2.5 to 3 minutes. You don't want to fry them too long, because we will be doing a double fry on these. Now, the drumettes take a bit longer to cook than wings, so if you are using drumettes, then increase the time to 4 minutes. But try not to overcook the chicken wings either. Okay, we'll turn the heat back up so we can get the oil back into temperature. It was at this point that I realized I forgot to turn on my exhaust hood, so that's when I did, and fried up the other 2 batches of chicken wings. Now, because I'm a lazy man, I did the 3rd batch of chicken wings, and then simply added the rest of the chicken wings back in. This will result in the temperature of the oil dropping, so you're going to want to turn the heat all the way to max so that the oil can quickly heat up again, so that the wings get nice and crispy, frying in oil at 180 to 190 degrees Celsius. This should only take a couple more minutes. After that, turn heat down, drain the chicken wings. You can use also a spider strainer if you have one, that's more efficient. Now, pour out the excess oil, but keep it. I poured it into a bowl somewhere else. We're going to add the aromatics we saved for the salt and pepper chicken wings. So again, that's 100 grams of onion, about 40 grams of garlic, and 15 grams of chilies. We'll now add in the chicken wings back. There's a little bit of oil still on them, but that's perfect because we need oil anyway, right? So we'll just toss those aromatics into the chicken wings. I think the textural contrast they provide, as well as their piquant flavor, it's a great match for the savory, deep savory notes of the chicken. We'll add some of that salt, pepper, and chili powder that we just made. We'll toss that into the chicken wings. I've added about half to start, and we'll just mix that in nicely. If it's not salty enough for you, you can proceed to add the rest, okay? And then we'll pour those out. Now we'll add some more oil. This is just the oil from frying the chicken wings, so of course save it, don't throw it out. That's about 3 tablespoons. We'll add in our eggs. You'll notice I have not beaten the eggs. We'll just let the eggs set on the bottom, and then once they're set, we'll scramble them. Don't scramble them while they're still setting, alright? If you allow the eggs to coagulate at the bottom and get a little brown, they'll be much more fragrant, alright? Which I think is important for a good fried rice, fragrant eggs. Of course, if you prefer less oil, you can use a lower heat to slowly scramble the eggs, which will result in fluffier eggs as well, if you prefer that. Now, we'll add the pork sausage, and we'll gently fry that. Now, the pork sausage will release a little bit of oil, but honestly not that much, so we will still need to add some oil later just to make sure nothing burns. And And then we'll add our carrots and green chilies. Now you have two choices. You can add the garlic here and fry it together with the carrots and sausage, or you can add the garlic towards the end, which is what I'm going to do. Alright? We'll now add in our rice with a little bit of oil. That's about 2 tablespoons of oil. And we'll add in half of the rice. And we'll just spread it out, count it out with our ladle. And as you can see, after a minute or so, it starts to get nice and brown. And we need to toss this for a good 5 minutes, just to make sure the rice is completely dry, the grains are separated, and we get nice breath of the wok. Also known as wo qi in Mandarin or wo hei in Cantonese. We'll heat up the wok again, add a little more oil, and then we'll do the same with the second batch of rice. Now, again, I'll be adding my garlic towards the end, which keeps it fresh. But if you like a more subtle garlic taste, or you like the aroma of fried garlic in your fried rice, feel free to add the garlic. Feel free to add the garlic together with frying the rest of the sausage and chilies and carrot. I dropped my bowl there because the bowl was extremely hot. Alright. Alright, we'll add the garlic in there now. And the residual heat will cook the garlic, so don't worry, it will not taste raw. Alright, it'll be good. We'll drizzle in 2 tablespoons of light soy sauce from the side of the wok. Drizzle from the side of the wok is because it's hotter than in the center, so it will evaporate the alcohol. And then you've got alcohol-soluble flavor and aromatic compounds that will just perfume that fried rice. We'll finish with a little pinch of salt, as well as the pinch of white pepper. And I did not forget my spring onions. I'll be adding in the white spring onions and just tossing them in here for a while to let them wilt. For the green spring onions, we're not going to toss them in at all. We're just going to put them right on top when we plate. So these spring onions, you can add them in. They provide a nice fresh flavor. I don't want to fry them. Some people fry their spring onions, but I don't. I just let them wilt in residual heat. And those are the 2 dishes. Salt and pepper chicken wings and homestyle fried rice. As you can see, I left the green spring onions to put on top. Hope you enjoyed these recipes.